Okay, thank you, everybody, and welcome to special edition of Portsmouth Coffee Talk. Of course, I'm Slim Overton, and just want to give you an update on Coffee Talk. I guess if you've listened over the last few weeks, you know we have sort of changed from the morning to the evening. So it'll be coffee talk in the evening. Now, a lot of people still drink coffee in the evening, and we always said, do your preference, coffee or tea or whatever. But for the name's sake, Coffee Talk is our name, our brand, and just wanted to give you an update again on where we're going. First of all, I want to address the fact that our last couple of shows, or maybe more than that, you haven't seen our longtime co-host, the Colonel, Thomas the Colonel Chapman, or Leah Drake Stitt. Now, you did see Leah on a few of our broadcasts, and you didn't see the Colonel. And uh, everything is okay between us. Talked to the Colonel this morning, as a matter of fact, and have been texting Leah. And we just, after all the time we've been on, just figure it's time to sort of rebrand and try to figure out which way we want to go. We always wanted to deal with politics, um, and but over the years we dealt with a lot of different subjects and threw politics in there and thinking that we needed to have those stories about those human interest stories about people that are celebrating Black History Month by celebrating certain people in the city of Portsmouth. We had a series of that before every show. We would recognize someone in the city of Portsmouth that you might not been as familiar with, who has made significant strides in the city of Portsmouth, who have dedicated their life to the uplifting of Portsmouth and the citizens, especially in the African American communities. And we focused on people that we just wanted to honor each show. And we did that for a while, and that was successful. And we appreciate the opportunity to be able to do that. And so that was just some of the different changes that we made throughout the years. Of course, we did Coffee Talk. We started Coffee Talk like this right after the pandemic, and we were on social media and the radio at the same time. At least the first half hour of our show was on the radio, uh, WGPL AM, and I'm part of the CBC, and then it was called the Christian Broadcasting Company. They're going by CBC now. They are still Christian based, but have broadened a lot of what they do there. But anyway, we had a long term relationship with them, and we were doing it by way of the phone. And we decided not to go back into the studio because it was easier for us to get our guests uh, virtually, rather than having them come in the studio where sometimes they had to get up early in the morning because the show was at 6 o'clock or 6:30. And so eventually the radio part of it fell off. So we continued on with the social media part. So we went on and time really flew. We had some great uh, shows or broadcasts with different people, and it's still up on our YouTube channel now. You can go and watch. We had some great conversations with people that were in their 90s from the city of Portsmouth and throughout, and different subjects concerning medical issues. Of course, we dealt with uh, one of my big issues that I try to advocate for is heart health. Being a heart transplant recipient myself, of course, I wanted to talk about that. And we had uh, cardiologists come on and talk about that, as well as other diseases, especially affecting the African American community. And a lot of our stories are based around that. We have no shame about that, but it's still broad enough to include everyone It's nothing wrong with us having a main focus on our community because we think it's needed. So we will continue, and like I said earlier, the colonel who was on there was a big part of our discussion, especially when we went into the political realm, and the same with Leah in the political realm, as well as our human interest stories. A lot of the people that came on, she knew, I had a personal relationship with, because she, was all over the place, over her years and the different occupations she had. And she had she had relationships with a lot of different people, and everybody loved her, of course. And I believe a lot of reasons for people coming on was because of her. And so we still have that relationship. We're just trying to reimagine the Portsmouth Coffee Talk. We've already started with moving it to the evening to better accommodate our guests and maybe booster our viewership, which we've been doing everything that we could do, but the viewership hasn't been rising like it should have by now, to be quite honest with you. So we're going to focus on a broader community, and we can do that now because we have these other platforms that we can focus in more on the local politics or the local stories where even though we are called Portsmouth Talk, Coffee Talk, and that's mainly because we're based here in Portsmouth, but we want to broaden our horizon, especially when we talk about politics, to reach as many people as we can. So we'll be bringing in guests hosts, and which we call them, in a panel discussions about what's going on in the state, especially now with the new governor and the new administration. It's going to be a lot to talk about that. Do you agree with what's going on? Because they hit the ball running, and they pretty much have to, because right after the governor is installed as governor, the General Assembly, Virginia General Assembly goes into session, in January. So that happens. So they have to get the work done, either through the short version of it or the long version of it. So they have to hit the ground running and start doing what they ran on, and do things that might not seem as popular now, but maybe the long term it might work out. But that's up for discussion as well. So we're gonna try to do that quickly, because the session doesn't last as long as we would have time to talk about the national news, which is year round, day by day. So we can always throw that in. So the focus is going to be on state and national news, or topics, which would open it up to a broader audience or participants from, a broader area than just focusing in on Hampton Roads and the city of Portsmouth. Still will remain Portsmouth Coffee Talk, as I said earlier, because that's where we're based, and that's our brand. But it's not necessarily going to define our reach that we're trying, the people that we're trying to reach. So look forward to different things to come out here. You might even see different introductions. Trying to work on as much as we can. A lot of that, I'm doing, but hopefully I can, I'll be able to get some people that have knowledge and making a more professional intros and things like that. We're going to do the best we can there, but the main thing is the content that we have doing our broadcast, and we're going to work on the quality of that and bringing in people that you want to hear, that have something to say that might be important for us to share with you. And we've already started moving out beyond the Hampton Roads with when we have our panels from people from Maryland, which usually is led by Louis Bracy, who is a former Portsmouth resident. He grew up in the city of Portsmouth, but he lives in Maryland now and very active in the politics there in Maryland, as well as the national politics. And if you watch, you've seen him on. He is very opinionated. Uh, doesn't try to act or be the nice guy. He just tells it like it is, how he feels, which is good because a lot of people feel a certain way, and sometimes when you have people that speak that way, you they're actually speaking or saying things that people want to say, but don't have the opportunity to say for various reasons. So we're going to bring, of course, Lewis is going to be a big part of that from time to time, as well as the people that he knows in the Maryland area where he lives. He's brought on, you know, delegates from that area and people that are very prominent there in politics. So we're going to continue to do that and sort of broaden our horizon too. We also have a cousin, John Gantz, who lives in Texas. We're going to, and he's been on the show off and on over the years. And it's good to get his perspective because he lives in Texas, in a state where a lot of controversy happens. And actually, you have more black voters there that don't always vote than you do in most areas. The percentage is higher there in most areas. And some of the things that happen there shouldn't be happening if we just get out and exercise our power. But he could talk more about that. And he lives right there and he deals with uh, what he deals with. The political climate there every day. So he'll be coming on from time to time, and it's also more advantageous for him by us moving to the night because of the time difference from Standard Time to, I think he's on Central Standard Time there in Texas. So it made it difficult for him in the mornings to have to get up with the time difference so much earlier than we would here. That's early for us. It's even earlier for him. So the evening programming works better for him, and hopefully it works better for a lot of people, guests that we want to have on. So we're gonna push this thing and launch. We're gonna roll along this month and have some focuses on, still focus on, because we started this on our local Black history, because we started, and I don't want to start something and not continue. So it's not going to be every Monday, but while the month is going on, we're going to have those times, even if we have a special day other than Monday, to recognize the local Black history heroes that we have here that a lot of people don't know about. We want to make sure we continue that the legacy that they have created and make sure our young folks know about that and remember them and learn from the experiences they had when they were coming up. So we're going to continue that. But the whole month of February, and then we're going to also deal with it's National Heart Awareness Month, so we're going to deal with that too. Hopefully, have at least one show that we can bring in a cardiologist or a nurse that deals with that to get the professional conversation going about that and what we need to do to protect our hearts and the preventative things we need to do to make sure that we don't have those kind of problems, falling into heart failure and things like that. And that's kind of prevalent in the African American community and in the communities as a whole. So we're going to focus on that. So, but we're going to look to, by the time March is here, to be able to launch a brand new, well, it's not going to be brand new, but it's going to be a different look for Portsmouth Coffee Talk with the same name, as far as what kind of content we're going to be sharing with you. And like I said, it's going to be a more politically based on the national news and the state news as we go along, and bringing in guests from the state and national. Now, we have had relationship with Senator L. Louis Lucas, and it hadn't been too many times where she hasn't agreed to come on here when we ask her. And if she didn't come on, it's because her schedule didn't allow it. She has never turned us down outright without when we requested her presence on our show. And she has come and really come on and given some really good information and explaining some of the things that were going on in the General Assembly and some of the purposes of some of the bills that have been introduced and why they've been introduced and uh, how they're passed and she just gives a general information and specific information on what's going on in the General Assembly. And we also have had relationships with the Speaker of the House, Don Scott. And he has come on several times, and I'm sure he'll be willing to come on again to talk to us and you about what's going on uh, as Speaker of the House, a historic. This would be his second term, being voted in as that. So we're looking forward to having him on, and of course, a variety of delegates from all over the state. Uh, starting here in Hampton Roads and then spreading out throughout the state of Virginia, having people come on, delegates and come on and talk to us about what they're trying to do for their localities and the state as a whole. So, just be patient and you'll see a change. You'll see a change for the better. We've been doing this for a while, but it takes a while. We are not expert journalists. We're not expert at this social media thing and the technology it takes to get the word out. But we're getting better at that, and we're hoping that with along with the change that we are doing, and we've made many changes. Just trying to adjust to what might be best for the people that view what we do here, and how can we keep them excited about Portsmouth Coffee Talk and what we want to do here. So as far as the local, I run into people in the street and they want to, say they have a issue or a subject that might be good to talk about. We have other platforms that we can deal with a lot of the local issues or the uh, human interest stories, talking about businesses. And I have the Slim Nation one-on-one experiences where I can really have that one-on-one talk with people where the focus will be mainly on that person or their business or their issue that is local. And I will try to be limited to local either on that platform. And then there's our take on it with Slim and Shona, and that's also me and Shona Swinson, Shona Choate Swinson, who is from Portsmouth but lives in Atlanta now. And we try to cover a variety of subjects on there and have fun doing it, but also sharing some important information with you. So that's a whole different type of podcast where you have the host and the two hosts and that share their opinions on certain subjects, but bringing guests on to talk about their experiences. And so that's another place where you can come and talk about some of the things other than politics. And we might hint on politics a little bit, but that's not our goal on that particular show. Our take on it just covers our feelings on certain issues that come up. The last show was about the role of grandparents. Is it changing or is it the same? Where we had a person, a guest on that is in her 50s, but a grandmother that at one point had to take care of her grandkids and her four kids and ended up with like 10 kids, 10 children that she had to a friend of mine, when I used to ask about how your kids, he said, "My kids, I don't have goats, and kids is a baby goat. A kid is a baby goat." And he used to get me every time with that, but it was just a habit of saying, "How's your kids?" And he said, "Man, I don't have baby goats. I have children." So I try to remember to use the term children, but that was the thing between he and I. But anyway, yeah, so we just want to roll along, and what we'll be looking forward to is oops, your suggestings about what you want to see on Postman Coffee Talk and the other platforms as well. But just keep in mind, Portsmouth Coffee Talk is where we want to stay in the political realm and make sure we keep up with the ever changing um, political world from day to day, like we see with this administration. And it's a lot. It's a lot to talk about every day, even to the point where we might have to add some days. But the regular time at this point now is the Mondays evenings at 7 p.m. And sometimes we'll have special shows if we have a panel, a large enough panel where we need to go from 1 hour to 2 hours. If we have a smaller guest appearance, maybe one, three or four or something like that, we can stay with the hour. But the larger panels, we need to go to the 2 hours to give everybody a chance to share their expressions or their give their 2 cents in whatever the main topic may be. So we look forward to those large panels too, because you get a range of opinions, and we want some of the strong opinions here. We want to challenge, the administration that's there now. We want to challenge the Republicans and the Democrats. You have to hold both parties accountable, even though some of us might be to the left leaning, but you still have to hold those people that represent you on the left accountable as well as you do for those people that are on the right. So we want to bring people up here that are not afraid to speak their mind and say how they feel, about things like Mr. Bracy does, as well as the Colonel, Thomas the Colonel Chapman would do. And he will be on from time to time, and the only thing we just might not have people regularly that are regulars every week, because sometimes that puts a strain on the people uh, that might be co-hosting or hosting, to be obligated to be on every week when they have their lives to live, other things that they have to do. So we have to be aware of that. You might see a lot of me because this is pretty much what I do now. You know, do a lot of the social media thing, and been doing it for a while, but still trying to get better and better at it. Still trying to go through my shows without saying a lot, but it's just a habit that comes up, and I think it's sometimes it's a mechanism that keeps you from saying something crazy. But uh, I'm gonna be more. I always get this from Lewis. Man, you're nice. You don't try to uh, upset, and that's pretty much always been my nature. That's why probably a lot of people, uh, sometimes they over the years they tiptoe around me. I've been in situations where we'd be in a group and everybody's joking everybody, and nobody really joked on me. I guess they figured I had a thin skin and I couldn't take it, but I could take it just as much as anybody. But because I was mostly soft spoken, and I guess they figured we're not going to hurt Slim's feeling. We're not going to get on him. But I have had people that really, just gave it to me as well. So, and I can appreciate and respect that, because really I can take it. I might come home and mumble under my breath, but I can take it, and I have some strong opinions too. I just always try to be fair, and the people that come on that have the strong opinions, I leave that to them. But I have some things that I want to say, and I'll be saying it as well, you know, uh, about the people, even if I know them and I have a strong opinion, because those people that you try to tiptoe around, a lot of times they don't hold back on what they feel or how they feel about things. So why are we tiptoeing around them? And sometimes people need to hear, especially if they're elected officials, they need to hear how you really feel about an issue. And that's the reason you have the town halls and things like that. The town halls are not for everybody to come together and sing "Kumbaya" and hold hands and skip down the street. It's for people to voice their opinions on certain issues, whether they like it or don't like it. It's always good to have people compliment the elected officials or whoever's involved that they appreciate the job they're doing, but you also have to let them know when you don't appreciate the job they're doing. So that's the way we're going to go with Boston Coffee Talk, with our panel discussions and just talking frankly about the issues, and people talk about certain people on social media saying things just for clicks, and you do get that because it's some outrageous things you heard people say, and their clicks are out the roof. I mean, their views and their subscriptions are out the roof because of those things that they say, and that's fine. Uh, if you believe in it. Some of those people I watch, I said, they know in the world they believe some of the stuff they say, and they just know marketing and what gets people to watch and what gets people to continue to watch because you said something that is so crazy that it gets people mad enough, you hear me, mad enough to just tune in every week to see what the next crazy thing you're going to say. And it might not be your true feelings, but you know how to what buttons to push to get people to watch, and that's fine, because in most cases it's a business for people, and they have to get people to watch, and we have to start looking at Coffee Talk as a business as well. We are a LLC, and we have had situations locally where we have had the candidates on, and we offered, you we had a charge for them coming on because we have to operate. And a few have come on, and we've had some that came on and but didn't fulfill their obligation, and that might come out later. But then we had others that one thing about local politics, not everybody that runs has the funds to be able to be on a show and have to pay for it, especially when there's so many other platforms they can go on and locally, and all they have to do is reach the people locally. So it's not advantageous for them to spend a lot of money to come on a show to get 15,000 votes to win a seat. And in many cases, that's all you need here in the city of Portsmouth because a lot of people don't vote. So that's why our focus is going to be on the national and state levels, where they have to reach a lot more people, and they tend to have a budget where they can come on a show to push their campaign and are willing to pay for that opportunity to do that. And any kind of exposure they can get, they know the value of getting that exposure. It's not always about the how big the numbers are, but it is because you want to have the maximum people watching. But a lot of times, the maximum people watching are not always the people that are actually going to vote for you. But that's why the local thing uh, doesn't work as well as far as pay for appearance. and some do, some have a war chest for that, but people just running for the first time, you can't do that, and it's kind of um, unfair if you allow. I mean, if they don't get the chance to share their campaign because they don't have the funds, so uh, that's a slippery slope. But we'll we'll do that on other platforms that we have here that focuses on local politics. I have something set up just for Portsmouth that we'll be doing, and the politicians or the people running for office can just come up there, and that'll be something that I'm doing on my own, and I won't be charging them to come on. So you'll hear more about that later, but I just that'll be my contribution back to the people of Portsmouth, making sure that they get a chance to see the ones that we have in our viewership, get a chance to see not Portsmouth Cover Talk, but it'll be something that's focusing on Portsmouth and what's going on in Portsmouth. You'll see that coming up soon as well. And if you think you're seeing me a lot, I guess you'll have to, but you might not always see me with a voice, but you might see me in the background. Uh, I especially with the Portsmouth Coffee Talk, I want to be able to give. You see the little thing, host producer, and I just threw the tag of producer up there because that might not really describe what I do, but I just put that up there. But because of putting these programs together and contacting guests and setting up and scheduling, that's where I put that title up there. But I do that with the intentions of being able to do that, and the guest host at the time, will have the floor per se most of the time. And I will be mostly in the background. Might pop up every once in a while if I have a question that I feel that might need to be asked uh, within the discussion or a comment I might make. But I want to give the floor once we set the political stage for Portsmouth Coffee Talk to talk about national news and have the particular panel guests, hopefully maybe different people weekly and some of the same that we'll see from time to time that will be reoccurring guests, not guests, but reoccurring hosts. And it all depends on what we're talking about at the time. So get ready for a whole different approach on this so we can get to the point we can be more national with the Portsmouth Coffee Talk, as I've been talking during this whole rant here. Be more national and be talking to people from different states throughout the United States. And we know people in a lot of different areas. It's just a matter of tapping in on them and saying, "Hey, you want to come in and have this discussion?" It's always good to have that kind of discussion with people from other states to know how they feel, and so they can bring their audience wherever they are to the platform. Uh, and we do the shows live, and we're going to look and see if how advantageous that is. But I think right now, if you're going to talk about politics and what's going on there, you pretty much have to do it live. Although after the live shows, the shows are recorded and they are uh, rebroadcast, or they're still up on the YouTube channel where people can see later that didn't see it live. But some of the issues that come up need to be talked about live because the next day it could be a whole different thing the way it's been going, with distractions and Epstein, and Epstein rises up and then other things come and sort of pushes it down in the news cycle, and then it rises again. Right now it's up here because a lot of information is coming up, but we're going to see how long it stays up here. That's what people are trying to keep the Epstein issue up here, so it won't eventually get buried, and it's all kind. And the last thing, the thing you say about that, why that, you get to decide why y'all keep bringing up Epstein, and you get that from Trump and a lot of his supporters. So it could have been solved a long time ago when it was first asked, no matter who was in administration, if who was ever in the DOJ at the time had to release the files. And you're talking about all these files. My thing is 3 million files being released. Who is reading all of that? I mean, how can it be released today and then you got people talking about it the next day? They must have a hell of a lot of people. Some of the platforms, hell of a lot of people on board to be going through 3 million files and then being able to report. But I think what they really do is go through them, and when they find something that's work, because a lot of it's probably it might be repetitive or it might not be newsworthy, but they're really looking for how many times Trump is named in there because he's kind of disassociating himself from him. But what we're finding out now, how many rich people now it's shaping out like a movie, like a movie you might go to where uh, there's an island, and you would see that in the movie, an island, and you see people flying in on helicopters, coming in by boat, you know, and all of them are rich, powerful people that coming in for a little hanky panky with underage girls, or even if they are of age girls, are they forced to do it, or you know, even if all of them were of age, you're thinking all of them were prostitutes. So these guys, most of these guys are married, and they're going there, having their little thrill, coming back, and in some cases, giving their wife, or have given their wife a venereal disease. So that's going to always be interesting, and it needs to stay up at the top, but it's kind of hard because all these other issues worldwide, and Minnesota, and all the things. So that's the kind of discussions we're going to continue on. And by March, all this stuff is still going to be going on, and it's going to be a lot more to talk about. So we're working uh, this month uh, to go through the agenda that we have set to be talking about, and uh, contacting people that we want to be a part of our occasional panels, in which we've already have. We just haven't been able to pin them down yet because we wanted to make sure that everybody was in agreement. We wanted to make sure that you knew that it was if you were missing the Colonel or Leah, they still a big. They will always be a big part of what we do here because because got lost my thought. They will always be a big part because they were here in the beginning, and anytime that they want to be on or be a part of what we're doing here, they're gonna always be welcome. I mean, it's not even like a welcome. They are still a part of Portsmouth Coffee Talk. You see on the cup here. Um, it's all of our likeness, our image on here. So that's not going to change. Boston Coffee Talk is what it is as far as the group, the original group that were doing everything, and you're going to see them. They're going to be coming back from time to time. But I depend on I, like I said, I talked to Colonel this morning, and he gave me some advice on some things that we probably need to do, focus on, and so that's what we'll be looking at, and that's how we roll. So don't think we are all falling out and not talking, and they don't be things. You know, have come. It came down to priorities. And I think it's going to be better moving to the night. It was a little difficult for everybody getting up that early in the morning for something that wasn't your real job, wasn't paying you, and you know, and at this point in our lives, it's just a little more difficult. And then you had other things that you're doing in your life. So hopefully, the afternoon show the evening show will be better on for everybody, uh, and mainly for the viewership. We hopefully that we can get the viewership that we need to to continue to grow. We always say I always say it doesn't matter, about the viewership, and it does. It does. We're still going to do it, and we don't have close to the viewership that we should have after all the time we've been on, and uh, it might be something I'm doing wrong, uh, but I've got a headache watching different how-to videos, and everybody has a different way, a different approach to how you can grow, and just trying to figure out how that fits with us here on Portsmouth Coffee Talk has been the hardest part of me trying to figure out how can we grow our channel. And uh, I have to agree with the Colonel. We have to go more national with our content and to reach more people. You know, a lot of people in Portsmouth care about Portsmouth, but how many people in Texas or California care about Portsmouth? And not taking anything away from Portsmouth, but how many? How many are going to watch a show and it's all about Portsmouth? And although it's in the name, but the more people will know that it's just in the name, but the subjects we cover will be um, will be on a national scale. And I don't think we will change the name. It would take a lot to do that once, with the LLC and everything we've done. We just have to change the content and let people know, you know, what we're about and what we're trying to do. So, just like the other times I've come on, I always come on and try, but this time, you know, the 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 clock is ticking as far as the uh, goals we've set for Postman Coffee Talk and what we want to do and where we want to go with it. Always almost wanted to give up on it. It was. It's not like it's too much for me because it doesn't take much for me to sit here in front of this camera and talk. But all the other things that come along with it, trying to schedule and things like that, and then looking at the numbers not growing like you would like them to be, and see other people, you know, uh, growing. That's kind of hard pill to swallow. But I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up on it. I just have to take a different approach and listen to all those. Have a combination of all those videos I continue to watch about how to grow, and it, it, and take it under advisement and try to implement some of those things to see us grow. The main thing is the content that is going to attract the viewers and going to attract people that want to participate in our live shows through our text comments. And I don't know if we ever uh, be in a position to have phone call-ins. That's a whole different setup where you have to have different people, and sometimes that takes, you have to commit to quite a few hours. If you have a show like that where you're going to take callers, but the texting is immediate, and people can text immediately while we are talking and give their comments, and we can read them, or if they have questions to the guests that are there at that time, they can uh, text their questions and the guests can address it. So that's where we are. So I want to thank, like I always do, the people that have been around forever, watching us and supporting us. And we're going to give you a reason to continue to support us and set up our financial mechanism again. We're having to change banks because the bank we were with for the monthly charges were just ridiculous, as compared to some banks you can go to where they don't have a monthly maintenance fee. It might be in some other ways where they make their money, but they make their money off the more you have in the bank. So we're in the process of changing banks. So we're gonna be able to let you know when you can contribute again if you want to. And this time we want to really set up um, a membership pod, and you can do that through your YouTube channel, where you, if you have enough viewers, where you can set up a membership uh, situation for people that can join and give a little something monthly. It doesn't have to be much. It doesn't have to break your bank, but just to help us to continue to do what we want to do. Uh, and I mean, we want to do the same thing all the other big boys are doing, and even have gear. And Facebook will help you do that too if you gain a certain amount of views. But if you have that support from the people that want to support you or view you, you can set up the situation where you can have a merchandise, and that's another way for us to make money, because some of the people that we might want to bring on to help us to make this a more a better quality broadcast programming. Sometimes you have to pay for that. So some of it will come from us personally, and some of it hopefully can come from you, the viewers. But we'll let you know when that opens back up for the opportunity for you to do that, if that's what you want to do. But we really want you to continue to keep watching, and please let us know if you want to be a part of what we do here. We have the Portsmouth Coffee Talk at yahoo.com. Portsmouth Coffee Talk at yahoo.com. That's all email. Of course, I have an email, but I would prefer that anything that you want to share with us as far as the Portsmouth Coffee Talk show, and I am going to put podcasts back on back on the name. I had it up there one time and I took it off, and I'm gonna put Portsmouth Coffee Talk, the Portsmouth Coffee Talk podcast, and I think that's more in line with what we'll be doing. As far as a social media show, be a podcast. So just bear with me if we go back and forth with the changes, but we're trying to, try different things and get to the point that we have something that really works. So you're going to see a different heading, the Portsmouth Coffee Talk podcast. And we call it that anyway, so that's what we are. So we're going to be a podcast. So, all right, everybody, thanks a lot. We appreciate you hanging in there and with me. And please stay tuned for what we're doing. And in the meantime, during the month of February, continue to watch as we deal with Black History and uh, Heart Awareness Month, as well as we're going to throw some politics in there. Uh, Especially, we're going to bring Louis Bracy on. He has something every day that he he can talk about, because he sends out emails every day about what he's seeing and how he feels about certain things that are going on. that we really need to share with you all. Okay, take care, everybody. We appreciate you, and we want to thank Lewis also for the contributions he has made towards Portsmouth Coffee Talk. All right, everybody, take care, and we'll see you next time. And remember to always be aware, be informed, and most of all, just be involved. Take care. Slim Overton here. Be our guest.